Hello! Welcome to episode 13 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
I'm Steven.
And every week, Steven and I get together and we talk about our latest attempt at making a graphic novella. I think so far it's going pretty well. But more importantly, Steven, I realized this week that I'm afraid of ants. Let me...
wait, because I mean, it was Thanksgiving this past week, so like the bug or the family member?
No, the bug. Not ants. Not aunt. Which I'd never say. It's always aunt. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm also afraid of my ants because they're very loud. But I love them. They're the best. I feel like they brought me into this world and they can take me away. But I'm mostly afraid of the insects, Steven. You want to know why? Let me give you some reasons. Reason number one why I'm afraid of ants. They outnumber us so much, Steven. Like, by so many.
Insane amounts.
It's not even close. What was it? Hang on. There are 1 million billion ants in the world as far as we know. Yeah, as far as the people who get paid to determine how many ants are. Anyway, reason number two.
There's a guy that gets paid to. First of all, there's a guy that gets paid to determine how many ants are in the world. So there's a lot of ants.
It's so terrifying that there's someone in the world right now who's sweating like Charlie Kelly with like a bunch of yarn on his wall, freaking out about how ants are going to take over because there's so 1 million billion of them, Steven. Steven, okay, ants can weigh anywhere between 1 milligram to 3 milligrams, right? If they only weighed 1 milligram, which they don't, right? There are big ants out there. If they only weigh 1 milligram, there are over 2 billion pounds of ants.
Still almost, wow.
2 billion pounds of ants. Think about that, Steven. It can literally be 2 giant man-like insects. Like they could be humanoid ant people. Like they could just amass themselves into some kind of giant monster.
Like 1 million ants. Was that his name in
Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
Exactly that. Except for they're 2 billion pounds, Steven. And that's only and that could be 3 times that because they can go up to 3 milligrams. So if they're only 1 milligram, there are 2.5 billion pounds of ants in the world. I don't know why they haven't taken over already. They try to take over kitchens all the time. Like, reason number 3, they could be anywhere, Steven. They're literally watching me right now. They could be on me right now, and I wouldn't know it. I never know to what extent they're out to get us. At any point, I mean, Hitchcock was like, birds, nay, ants, Steven.
Ants.
So, how did you do this week?
Ooh, not well. I mean, I got the blues done, which we'll put right here. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of like the action sequence in that and like the dynamics I'm getting in that page. But you know, I thought this week was going to be problematic because World of Warcraft Shadowlands dropped, and I am of course a World of Warcraft player.
I love how this week was Thanksgiving, and your first thought was like, "That's not going to hinder my progress whatsoever."
It's going to be WoW.
Spend more time with my family. It's WoW. World of Warcraft is gonna.
It's gonna be WoW.
The new WoW.
But WoW wasn't even nearly as problematic because as obviously Thanksgiving, I for some reason just didn't even register that Thanksgiving was gonna be an all-consuming day.
Right.
But then beyond that, we also had a wedding to attend this weekend. So it was like a gathering at a house. But it was really nice. It was a really nice put together wedding. But
I saw a few pictures from it.
Also, my head's so big. Look how big my head is.
Look how big Steven's head is. First of all, Steven's head is the best in the business. It's amazing. Steven's head is beautiful and big and bold, and I love it. Also, can I point out just how is Tina's mom so pretty? Like,
she is pretty.
What is that about? I know you're not allowed to say it. I can say it. Tina's mom is a hot grandma.
You completely take over that one. That's also my daughter. That's also my daughter in that picture. She's a cutie also. I mean, you've all seen. I mean, maybe I don't know how much gets edited out in some of the earlier episodes actually, because anytime my daughters come in, it's usually not a good thing. But that's Cambria, and she's awesome.
I was gonna say Cambria's cameos are often without clothes.
Yes.
So Cambria's clothless cameos are usually
Cambria likes her pajamas are boxers or something like that. Like she doesn't like to wear anything. Like she just wants to. So yeah, but no, we had a pretty busy week. So I got the blues done. I was like super arrogant and cocky, and I said I was gonna have them all colored and everything.
Right. That's what happened to me the first time I failed. Yep. First time I failed, I was like, I'm gonna get the most done that I've ever gotten done, and then immediate failure. I also was not very successful this week. I did write a little. I didn't write nearly as much as I wanted. Basically, what happened to me was Thanksgiving was a bit of it. My work has been open much later, so I'm having like less and less time after work to write. And then you know how hard it is, after putting a child to bed to have the energy to do anything, how difficult that can be. It's just like so stressful. I just want to like sit down and do nothing or watch something or just like watch Seinfeld and like drink a beer or something. On top of that, literally the day like where I was like, I'm gonna have the most time, right? I was like, I'm gonna spend the day with Atlas, and then I'm gonna get him to bed by 8 o'clock, and I'm just gonna start writing, right? So playing with Atlas, we're in the garage. Dad, like, he was like, Daddy, what's this? And he goes over the suitcase that I have, and it's just full of old drawings and stuff, like all of my old drawings, all of like, and I was like, oh, cool, I can show him like some like old funny stuff, and some of it is his brother and sister's old drawings and stuff.
That's cool,
dude. So I'm looking through there, and so out of the folds of the paper falls this, which is the first draft of an anniversary gift that I made for his mom years ago. And what it is it's a very Jane Austen-esque version of our story and how we met and fell in love and everything. And it was something that I made and then like drew a picture of a cover and bound it for her and everything. But anyway, that was the first print that I made of it to like see how it would look because you have to format, the pages properly and everything. So anyway, so I found that. I thought I had discarded all of that stuff, so it just kind of like tunneled its way into me, just like it was like the basically it was like the emotional vibration for the tremor worm that was that feeling from his mom. You know what I mean? Like, like there was just like that little bit was left and it was like enough to wake that gross like graboid or whatever, just like just came out and was like, oh, I haven't felt that in a while, like the last time I felt anything related to, my ex, it was when the first time after the whole breakup, the first time Atlas came home and he referred to my ex's new boyfriend as like her lover or like her love. And I was just like, oh, and it just like twisted, just,
yeah.
So anyway, but it had been since I thought about that stuff, and then I found that book, and it just kind of like squeezed that sponge again. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm here now, which you'd think will help, with what I'm writing, but it hurts so much that I was just like, oh, maybe too bad. Maybe this is too much. I shouldn't,
too deep.
This is too, this isn't great. This isn't a good feeling, so I haven't thrown it out yet.
This is not an energy I can tap into.
Yeah, it's not.
I want to tap into this.
Yeah, so it was dark. It was bad. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I should just like rip it up. I don't know if I should. I don't know. Do I eat it? I don't know. Like, I don't. So I'm definitely going to get rid of it. I don't know what to do with this. I'm probably not strong enough.
Maybe we make it like one of the Kickstarter things.
Oh, God.
How horrible would that be?
Do I keep this for the Kickstarter? Okay. If you're listening to this right now, if you're watching this, I'm going to make a poll on our Twitter. On twitter.com/wehaveissuespod, I'm going to make a poll about what I should do with this. And one of the options is going to be give it away on Kickstarter, which is hilarious because it was written for an audience of one, and it would just be really funny if someone else wanted it. Because I hope
this is going to be like a double hypothetical because it has to happen. But I hope that first of all, Twitter votes yes. And then second of all, whoever decides to bid or purchase that Kickstarter step makes copies for the world.
Oh, that would be so funny. I take no credit in that.
What if that becomes more popular than the actual novella?
They make a whole podcast. Like, they have an audiobook. There are poems in there too, Steven. There are poems.
Let me put my poems in you.
Okay, so I have a couple random questions for you. Not that they're not from anyone. Just from me. Just me living my life. Mostly being in the shower and thinking of stupid stuff. So first,
me apparently.
Yeah, Steven, I'm in the shower and I always think of you, and okay. You know what? This isn't even what I was going to talk about. Do you ever have like hypothetical conversations with people in your head? Like sometimes I will have arguments with people, that, and it's almost like it's a test run for an actual argument that I think I could potentially have with that person, which is really weird. But it happens, and I'm like, oh, that's what I would do in that situation. But I always win. I always win the argument. So I don't really think it's a fair assessment. I don't really.
We're all just Eminem on the stage with our hood down and like ready to go in those situations.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. Like, I mean, I cannot be trusted in the hypothetical world of my mind. Like, I'm worse than I'm Neo from the Matrix. I am like the worst. I can literally leap over cars as I'm debating someone in my head, and it's just nuts. Speaking of which, I know that like I wanted to start saying something else, but thinking of Neo for a second, because I was thinking about this yesterday. How lame is Neo considering what his actual power is, right? Like, Neo can basically manipulate the code of the Matrix, right? Like, that is...
He's basically a better Green Lantern, which Green Lantern is already insane.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He is exactly just like the Green Lantern, except for he can manipulate the entire world without having to power it up.
He's Thanos, really. I mean, he's everything.
It's amazing. Steven, and you know what he does? He dodges the bullets. I mean, until he finally does the no thing, which is really cool, and I love it. But he could have turned the bullets into anything and sent them back at him. He could have crushed the entire world around all the Agent Smiths. He could have done so much. And he basically was just like, I can dodge stuff. I'm Goku. I am Goku.
Yeah.
Lantern. He wasn't Goku. He was Green Lantern. You know?
Green Lantern. He was Green Lantern, but also Goku. Like, he just didn't.
Green Goku.
He was everything.
It was amazing. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to start talking about Neo, but what I was going to ask you is, what is Pac-Man, Steven? What is Pac-Man? Why is Pac-Man? Why is it that Pac-Man can transcend realities and suddenly eat ghosts? Because it seems like he goes into a different plane. And why are the ghosts different when he does it?
Why are the ghosts after him?
Why are the ghosts after him? Do the ghosts... But the ghosts want to... What do the ghosts want? Do the ghosts want to possess him? Do the ghosts want to
Are the pellets like ghost memories?
Maybe he is collecting all of the ghost memories, and then when he gets enough, he can... Does he travel back in time? Why do they turn blue suddenly, Steven? Why do they turn blue? And they know! They're suddenly, like, terrified when he hits that.
And, like, does that, like, change, like, his ability to digest them? Like, what does it do?
Does he need to digest the dots? Because, obviously, he never loses energy, right? Like, he seems to gain energy when he hits the blinky ones. But he never... It's like he can go through empty space, and it's just fine, right?
Mm-hmm. He never stops moving.
He never stops moving. He's always, you know, it's... Pac-Man is a ghost... He's a ghost shark. He's a shark for ghosts. You know, like, what is...
We never really thought how terrifying it must be to be a ghost in Pac-Man's world, huh?
Right? Well, I mean, and what's weird is, are the ghosts the ones who are summoning the fruit and the pretzels, trying to stave off the monster that is the Pac? You know, like...
Or are they baiting him? Who's the villain here,
Anthony? And why does it switch so often? I love it. It's just, okay, like, in any animated movie, if you show a particular perspective, you can make a hero out of any character, right? Like, we've seen... Okay, like, let's just say, like, A Bug's Life, right? Like, for the majority, like... Or like ants, right? Or it's like the ants are the heroes, but then there are grasshoppers who are villains. You can easily make grasshoppers the heroes in that situation, and then just make anyone who's gonna step on them the villain. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a villain, you know? So it's just so interesting that, like, in Pac-Man, they show, like, we just assume Pac-Man's the hero, but he quickly becomes the villain. Like, he quickly is devouring the ghosts. And if you play against other people, you can you can't be the ghost. You can be other colors of Pac-Man, right?
So it's really just a ghost massacre at that point.
Ghost massacre.
Hey, let's have a competition who can eat the most ghosts. And these ghosts are just like, why are you murdering our family? Like, hunting us down like animals.
I want to do it. Like, I wish I should have done research, because I had this stupid thought, and I was like, how did they come up with just like, we need to eat this guy? Like, I get it. He looked like a puck.
that meeting. All right. So it's a puck, okay? And he eats pellets. And there's ghosts that are after him.
Wait. So does he ever escape the ghosts? Nope, they're always after him. Okay, well, what
They're
happened?
all constantly chasing.
Constantly after him? Okay. Is he ever full? No. He only gets hungrier. No. There's
He's
some
insatiable.
Some pellets give him just blood in his eyes. He can see it. He has a taste for it, and he needs those ghosts.
He pops it in his mouth, and he transcends time and space, and then he just devours the souls of the unliving. Soul.
I was just thinking about how crazy Pac-Man is. But anyway, so that was random thoughts for today.
So, my No World for Tomorrow vinyl came in.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's the red and cream. It's like a variant. Yeah. So it's got like a spatter or like a blood spatter effect going. So yeah, my Coheed vinyl came in. It makes me sad that I didn't get to buy it at the show and get them to sign it, but
I know. Still. As far as Coheed, obviously he has a very unique voice. Geddy Lee like, people would compare them. So okay, when people sing like that, right? Or when people have very specific voices, or even their speaking voices, right? You ever how does that happen, Steven? How do we condition our voices? Like, how do we I understand how people can like train their voices to get like to widen their ability to hit certain notes, like your range can grow as you practice and like exercise your vocal cords. But as far as like, okay, hi, what's going on? If I sounded like this, and there are a lot of people who do just sound like this and say like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? What's going on? Or there are a lot of people who are just like, hey, what's going on? And like it's something that you can do, and I feel like my voice just pitches all over the place all the time, and then like depending on how excited I get, and like I or just like oh fuck, like how upset I am, and it's just like this whole range. And singing is similarly singing is the same way. Like I don't know how someone like Claudio will land on like like how does he land on that?
But he does a lot of things that like I don't think a lot of people would do. Yeah. Like with those, like the way he hits vowels sometimes are just so crazy. Mm-hmm. Like he just bounces up and down on the O. But for some clarity for me when it came to Claudio, like one of their earliest performances, and it's on YouTube. I'll try to link it to you so you can see it. It's like literally like it'd be the equivalent of like a battle of the bands like that we played at.
I think I saw that one. I think like
he's got really short hair in it, and his voice. I mean, you can tell it's like a baby version of what he's going for, but it's screechy. It's out of key. He's like missing his note, but he obviously just practiced and honed what he was going for, and like got it, and it worked for him. His voice kind of has that sound anyway, but it definitely sounds like something he's projecting.
I still don't understand how some things happen. Like Crash Test Dummies. Do you know that band? Do you remember that band? Okay, you know what you do know? Weird Al. Once there was this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's the Crash Test Dummies song. Who?
What?
Yeah. Who sits down and is like, okay, well, this is what I sound like, but when I play guitar, I just have to do this. Like, okay.
And just went with it.
Yeah, and I know some people have I don't know what's real and what's just like this manufactured like identity that people have. Like, did Elvis really sound like that? I don't know. I don't know. I
don't think he did. I think that was a persona, and I think he I've heard a lot of things that where his style comes from and stuff like that. But yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I think you're onto something more or less. It's like basically almost like acting.
Yeah, I think
arts.
And I think we kind of touched on this like episodes and episodes ago, but like about the whole like crafting your own kind of avatar and like what does it matter as far if it's real or not, or isn't it just as real as anything else? But
you created it, right? I mean, what's the difference?
And if it's consistent with what you want to be in the world, I don't see any real trouble with it. Like as long as you're not hurting anyone, there's no reason to be a poopy pants. But it's just so interesting to me. I don't know how people land on these things. Like how many people, right? When Elvis first came out, this is like Blue Christmas because it's almost Christmas time. All right. Imagine, Steven. Imagine, if you will, a world in which people put on a record, right? They have a record player, and they take the record, the needle, and they place it down. And this is what they hear. Like I'd be like, it's skipping, it's skipping.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so
yeah, he does.
Like, how many record players were taken back to the store and they're like, this is a piece of garbage, it doesn't work. You know?
Listen to how bad this skips.
Yeah, but like he really did. Like he was like, I got it. You know what I'm gonna do? Like it's crazy.
Is this guy just swearing a bunch? Are they blocking him? I don't know what's happening here.
Are they censoring this man? Yeah, I don't know. Like there are just some things that I can't. Like I love it because I like writing music and I just like writing in general. I can't help but to wonder like what certain people were thinking when they added things to songs. You know, like okay, one of my favorites, Steven. I have two. I'll just very quickly because I'm trying to make this a shorter podcast. Just two things. Steven. When Michael Jackson would go into the booth and say, I want to do one more track.
Come on.
Okay. Like, as there had to be a time where people were just like, Michael, okay, just let him do it. Let it go. Just let him go. We won't record.
Listen, he's a scat man, and he's gonna scat. Okay.
So
Scatter's got a scat, right?
Like there's that, and then like I can't, like once a year I think of this moment, Steven. Once a year I think of the moment where there was a man who approached his bandmates, went up to them, and said, "Guys, I got it." And they were like, "You wrote a song?" He's like, "I wrote these songs." He was like, "Let's hear it. We need to hear this immediately. We need a new hit. We need a hit." He's like, "I've got big balls." They're like, "What's he talking about?" He's got big balls. Okay, man. She's got big balls. What is he doing? But we've got the biggest balls of them all. Okay, cool. We're all in.
As long as we all have big balls, I'm okay with this track going forward.
Like, can you imagine me going, Steven, I got it. I got the one. And then that's what comes out. What? Like, I just...
Like the most genius lyrics of all time.
It kills me. Like, it's like the comfort I get every time I come up with a new idea. I always go back to thinking about Ninja Turtles every time. Every time I'm like, I can't describe this. It sounds too silly. I don't know what to do. I don't think anyone's going to like this. I always just think of like, they're turtles, but they're also teenagers. And they also do ninjutsu. And their dad/sensei is a rat. And I'm like, I love it. I love it.
My favorite thing ever.
It's one of my favorite things.
And you're going to create this amazing melodramatic story between Leonardo and Raph, and you're going to sell it to us a bunch of times, and we're just going to eat it the same way every time.
Every time, like delicious cheesy pizza. Like the cheesiest pizza, Stephen.
And the craziest thing is, like, you would think it was the best in, like, the first two live-action movies, which are incredible. Jim Henson's puppetry, all that good stuff is amazing. But then, dude, like the most emotional sequence is in the animated one when him and Leo fight in the rain, and it's like this crazy brother on brother fight, and it's just so epic. And but on the comic front of Ninja Turtles right now, by the way, I haven't read it, but there's like this mini series they're doing called Ronin, and it's basically all the turtles are dead except for one. And the turtle that's still alive, like, has all the weapons. So, like, the whole first issue, you don't know which turtle it is that lived. And he's like super gritty because his brothers were all murdered, basically. And now he's like sneaking around like this post-apocalyptic, like global terrorized, like New York City, and like he's like attacking the Foot, trying to get revenge for his brothers. It looks pretty epic.
No, he's Batman. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wasn't Ninja Turtles originally like a spoof of the Frank Miller comic Ronin?
Anyway. Which I think it's like a full circle. Side note, it happened to me. So the thing that always happens to you, but I don't think it's close enough. But so it's definitely not close enough. But it was just so funny to me because, like, theme wise and story wise. So remember the clan idea that I was like bouncing off of you?
Yeah.
Yes, but not really. Just like a very small part of it.
Okay.
So they're not households, but in that world that we were talking about is basically like the 5 different, species of characters that all have different gifts and things like that fight each other. Dude, in the newest expansion of World of Warcraft Shadowlands, it's a really cool expansion. Like, the whole idea is really awesome. You're the heroes. You've been the heroes forever. You killed an old god, this and that. Literally traversed the realm of death. And in the realm of death, it's not just like heaven and hell. It's like there's different realms for the depending on the soul, this and that. And like, but anyway, so there's multiple realms that you can traverse to, and one of them is Maldraxxus, which is like this construct, like zombie, like basically unending war zone, right? It's like
okay.
When you first arrive in the zone, dude, you crash land, and it's just like 1,000-person pit fight, and you have to fight your way out of the pit and like be the top fighter, basically. Yeah. But anyways, once you find out what's going on in Maldraxxus, there was 5 households, and 2 of them are already dead, which is like literally how the clan starts. Yep, it's like exactly there's 5. I was like, man, how did it happen to me now too? Yep. Granted, like I said, it's not even close to the same idea overall. Like there was much more going on in the issue, but it was just so funny that it was like a 5 and 3 are left thing.
Of course,
because that's exactly what I had. Like,
man, it's crazy how that works. Like
it's so crazy.
The whole when I was younger, I watched it's Make Your Own Dang Movie. It's from Trauma. It was like a documentary from Lloyd Kaufman where he interviews different filmmakers, and he interviewed James Gunn, who made Guardians of the Galaxy, and he is now making Suicide Squad and all Super and all these amazing movies. And he basically said when he writes, he sits down and he acts like there's someone else in the world writing the exact same thing, and he has to write it faster and better as best he can. Like he has to beat the person because they are going to make the thing.
It's gonna happen.
And I mean, even like nerdier version of that is like Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote in his journals, where he was like, basically, you need to be the person you are and say the thing you need to say today, or else someone else is going to say it with a worse tongue tomorrow. Like someone's going to be less able to say the thing as authentically as you could say it right now. So just do the thing, like put your kids to bed. Do it,
get it done.
Yeah, so
finish this novella before someone else makes like a Sony Walkman that sucks them in, and like he gets.
It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Someone right now is working on it, and they're like, oh man, if only I had this relationship. If it just ended sooner. If only someone ripped out my heart a little earlier, we could have gotten started. No,
man, a Walkman would have been so much easier to draw too. I don't know why we didn't think of a Walkman.
You know what, Steven?
Even an iPod. I could have just had a little iPod that just zaps you into the audio jack, but no, we have like this vinyl record player. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, Steven. I'll rewrite the whole thing. You redraw the whole thing. We're fine. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. What do you have planned for next week? Do you have a specific plan? Are you going to be as ambitious?
I need to not be
Finish
so cocky.
the book, Steven. Finish the book.
I'll definitely get page 5 done.
But what are your WoW goals, Steven? What are your WoW?
Well, I'm already level 60, but no, so should everyone be. But there's a lot to do in WoW. But I'll be good. I gotta make sure not to pour too much time into that, because pages still take 4 to 5 hours at least. So I can like literally see physical time. Like I need if it's a certain time of the week, I know I'm not gonna get a page done, because I can see the time I have versus what. But I want to get 5 done, and like I hope I'm inspired enough to draw a 6 also, because 6 shouldn't be that bad actually, because I think that's like when he's getting swallowed, and then I set up that thing with the picture frames. Now I have something for the vinyl to burp out basically, and then page 7 is that cool windy page, which is just one giant piece of artwork, so that should be fun too. So cool. Those should plug along pretty quick.
All right, so you're thinking you're going to get like fine pencils and maybe blues done?
On 6, yeah.
On 6? Okay.
Fine pencils on 5, blues on 6.
Cool. I'm going to designate pages to where the where the narration's going. So I'm gonna choose where the narration's gonna go in the book from what I have written already, and then try to continue on to the next chapter as best I can. I'm gonna try to get a good chunk. This week is the week where my son goes with his mom for a couple of days, so I always get the most amount of work done in those days. I do work, but I have the whole morning and early afternoon to just write and look at Twitter. So that's pretty much like all I'm going to do.
Your boy tweets, that's for sure. I see you tweet up a storm.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so basically Twitter's my girlfriend. I'm not dating. I don't know what to do, Steven, because I'm not dating, and Twitter at least gives me a little bit of like attention, and it gives you that like satisfaction of engaging with people in a way that and it kind of runs the gamut of like, it could be a meaningful engagement or like interaction, or it could just be like a silly joke that you make with someone. But either way, for the most part, my interactions with people are like almost always positive on Twitter so far, and I hate to like throw that into the universe because it wants to like throw a wrench into that plan. But
that's good, because I mean, I don't use Twitter often, but I know it can be a pretty hellish landscape at times. So if you're spreading any sort of positivity on that social media app, I'm sure it's a good thing. So
oh yeah, I'm definitely here
power to it.
So so I'm going to be on Twitter and writing as much as possible this week when my son goes with his mom. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate you listening to any of this. Please remember to like and subscribe right now, and share with your friends and your grandparents.
Yeah, smash that like button.
No, smash the subscribe button, Steven. Like the like button's important, but it's not. Okay,
do you like lightly tap the like button and then smash the subscribe button?
No, you kiss the like button and you headbutt the subscribe button. That's what you do. That's how this works. I've been studying. I've been watching the ancient art of YouTube on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. But thank you so much. You can find us at facebook.com/groups/We Have Issues Podcast. You can also find us at twitter.com/We Have Issues Pod, and basically everywhere where you find podcasts. If you're just listening to this on an app, you can watch our podcast and see all of our progress as we get through this book at youtube.com/We Have Issues Podcast. And we would love to see you there. So, and if you do make your way into YouTube, you'll see that Steven and I basically comment back to everyone who comments, and we're building pretty good relationships with everyone in the whole world. So we love you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Great week.
Yeah. I'm Anthony.
I'm Steven.
And this has been We Have Issues. Thank you for listening.